welcome to Drumshee Days, starring Maire Rua and David Eisen.
Hello, Nora Gallagher here again. I'm glad to see us all back to hear our third yarn from Drumshee Dry Dance Hall, back then in the summer of '58. Tonight's story is about taking a last chance on love. You know, all sorts came to Drumshee Dry Dance Hall on a Saturday night. Sure, it was the only entertainment in the townland. It didn't have any competition in the popularity stakes. And it wasn't just the young, romantic, starry-eyed ones that came and their potential suitors. No, the older ones came as well, like myself, ones that had resigned themselves to sitting up on the shelf. And of course you had the oddities and the oldies. The whole shebang came out of a Saturday night to our dry dance hall.
Let me tell you about a place somewhere down in Drumshee way, where the people all like to play, twisting the night away. Twisting, twisting, twisting the night away.
The first two to arrive at Drumshee Dry Dance Hall on a Saturday night were double act sister and brother, Maire Rua and Jimmy Rua the Red. They came together every Saturday night to the dance, and they left together every Saturday night after the dance. Poor Maire Rua was scunnered with Jimmy, and his lack of enthusiasm for getting himself a wife. I mean, God love him, poor Jimmy was not good at that sort of thing, sure we all knew that. Arrow, he was crippled with shyness. There was no harm in him, but he wasn't very eloquent. Sure, his word bank consisted only of one word. Aye. You see, Maire Rua did the talking and the thinking for both of them. Sure, the poor fella never learned the art of conversation. Sure, he never got a word in edgeways. And even if he did want to talk, well, what she didn't, it would have made no difference because she just kept rattling on and on. I mean, Maire Rua had resigned herself at 35 to be on the shelf because there was no hope of her getting Jimmy married. But all that changed in the early part of the summer of '58 when Maire Rua got the surprise news. Hadn't she been left the home house in the will of her uncle, Jimmy Rua, who lived in America? Aye, she was now the proud owner of a property. And I'm telling you, she soon jumped down off that shelf because now she was marriage material. She used to come in to me into the cloakroom of a Saturday night and say, Nora Gallagher, any man would be glad to get a woman that has a house with her, even if she is 35. And then she'd continue, and she'd say, but Nora, what man would want to come into a house when it's 2 against 1? Sure, Jimmy would be stuck between the 2 of us, and sure that would be no good for the 3 of us now, would it? Poor Maire Rua, she had her work cut out with Jimmy. Because God knows the reason why Jimmy was called Jimmy Rua the Red was because he said little, but he blushed a while lot. I remember seeing the two of them this particular Saturday night. God knows, but they were chained together, the pair of them. And here they come, walking into the Dry Dance Hall.
Chains. My baby's got me locked up in chains. I can't go out. You know I'm not free. Oh, these chains of love, they got a hold on me. The chains. My baby's got me locked up in chains. You know they ain't the kind that you can see. Oh, these chains of love, they got a hold on me. Oh, these chains of love, they got a hold on me.
The Strabane Boys band were warming up when the pair came into the dance hall that particular Saturday night. Now, Maire Rua had a busy walk, so I knew there was something up. And poor Jimmy, sure, he was trailing 2 feet behind her and I'm looking down at the ground. Oh, the humour wasn't too good on neither of them. She comes up to me and I says me cheery hello. She didn't even say hello back, but she just launched into one. Nora Gallagher, I need the patience of Job with this boyo. Look at the cut of him. He forgot to buy the Brill cream. And didn't he use butter instead to sleek back the hair? And now it's all dripping down his face after us walking down the hill. And what's he like? She told Jimmy to go in and sort out his slithery mess. And then she tells me her secret. Now that he's out of the way, Nora Gallagher, I want to tell you a secret. I took your advice, Nora, and I've taught our Jimmy to dance. Well, says I. A few weeks before that, you see, Maire Rua and I were having a conversation. And I was telling her that every time I looked at Jimmy of a Saturday night and listening to the Strabane Boys band, I could see that he loved the music. He knew every single word of every single song. He was tight on that beat. I could see him toe tapping. And he had good rhythm. And I thought to myself, you know, Maire Rua, if he's that good and he's that keen on the music, maybe there's a dancer trapped inside of him. And I told her that she needed to shift gear if she wanted to get Jimmy out of the house. She needed to get him comfortable enough to at least go out and ask a girl to dance. And for that, he would need to know how to dance. Well, by heavens, hadn't she put me plan into action? And she had taught Jimmy to dance. And she told me that on this very night, she was going to get him out to dance for the first time. Jimmy comes back from the toilets after cleaning off his buthery mess. He gives me his coat, and do I notice he's looking dapper. He's a new shirt on him and a new tie, and I tell him that he looks grand. And Lord love him, but he blushes, and he says as usual, aye. And the two of them turned and were making their way into that dance hall. And she was rattling on with her giving out talk, because God knows, Maire Rua, she was one of those nervous talkers. She just talked for talk's sake. You know, the small talk and the giving out talk, anything but no talk. And here she was rattling on with her giving out talk. Jimmy Rua, you have me smelling like a butter churn. God save us and bless us, where's me eau de cologne? Till I splash it on, in case people think it's me that's got the buttery smell, not you. And off the two of them went in, as the Strabane boys' band were striking up the first dance. The lonesome pair were heading into the fray.
Everybody's going home and having fun. But I'm staying home and having none. I can't get over how she set me free. Oh, lonesome me. I guess I'll never know how that I can lose these lonesome blues. I gotta forget about my past, find someone new. I can't get over how she set me free. But oh, lonesome me. Lonesome me.
Maire Rua knew that she needed to get a push on to set their dance plan in motion. And she needed to do that before the boys came full of Paris whiskey up from Shan Shami Shabeen. Oh, unlike those boys, poor Jimmy, he hadn't the guff talk or the sweet talk, because his vocabulary really consisted of one word, aye, with variations, of course, on the aye. There was an aye for question, and there was an aye for resignation, and an aye for I'll do what I'm told. Aye, they needed to get the push on before those lads came, because there wouldn't be hope of him getting a girl once they arrived. I kept a wee eye out. I watched them as they were sitting over in their usual corner. God love them, they always sat together. I was waiting for the action to happen, but there was no action happening. There was no sign of Jimmy going out to ask a girl to dance. I could see Maire Rua getting fidgety, she was getting impatient, and the next thing, doesn't she give Jimmy a big gunk? And Jimmy gets up with his resignation, aye. and he shuffles off and makes his way to that dance floor. The next thing, don't I see Jimmy Rua the Red heading over to a gaggle of girls. Gods, no, Jimmy, not not those girls, Jimmy. Sure, that's the Dolly Bird Brigade. They're going to have nothing to do with you, Jimmy. They're here and they're waiting for the lads to come from Sean Shamey's Shabeen. Sure, Jimmy Rua would be too old for them, and he certainly would be too shy for curtain. Oh, Lord, I was cringing for him. I watched him as he went over and he asked the first one to dance. No, not that he asked her to dance, he just nodded in the direction of the dance floor. She refused and started to giggle and nudge her friends. He made a holy show of him. He asked the next one to dance. He got a no. And he asked the next 4 along the line to dance, and every one of them said no. So you know yourselves. If one girl refuses you, the whole lot of them along the line will have to refuse you. So there was poor Jimmy stuck there, standing in the middle of the dance floor, wondering what he should do next. Was he to walk back to Maire Rua and get a welcome glare from her? He just stood there in a quandary, not knowing what to do. The next thing out of the corner of me eye, don't I see half deaf in one ear Mary T, who usually stood at her spot beside her friend Betty Shan with the lumbago and the stick near the ladies. Begorra, here she was, striding up that dance floor, and I could see that she was heading up towards Jimmy. Maire Rua was watching from her seat, and I was watching from the cloakroom. And sure enough, half deaf in one ear Mary T goes right up to Jimmy Rua the Red, and with a nod towards the dance floor, takes him out to dance, pushing him ahead of her as they moved along. Something took hold of that woman that night, and she wasn't going to let those Dolly Bird Brigade shame poor Jimmy Rua the Red and him out for his first dance ever. Well, who would have thought it? Mary T never danced. She used to say, I'm uncomfortable dancing because with me deafness in one ear, I don't always hear the beat, she'd say. But I love watching the dancing, is what she used to say. And she'd get herself dolled up every Saturday night to look at the dancers. Well, here they were now, herself and Jimmy Rua the Red, standing waiting for the Strabane boys to strike up the set. They were ready to do the twist.
Let me tell you about there's a place somewhere down in Drumshee way. All the people, they love to play, twisting the night away. And these people, they like to have some fun. They love keeping trouble on the run. They sit and dancing so free, twisting the night away. Twisting the night away. Twisting the night away.
Well, you should have seen them on that dance floor twisting away. Nobody could believe it. I remember even Father Maloney stood looking at them in surprise like the rest of us. Because Jimmy Rua the Red could dance. He was a brilliant dancer. And Mary T danced all the better because of him. They were a proud pair on that dance floor. And they were happy and content dancing away. There was a glow on Mary T's face. And Jimmy, he looked taller and prouder. And they danced and they danced. And after the set was over, Mary T whispers in Jimmy's ear. And she says to him, Jimmy Rua, will we go again? And Jimmy Rua says back to her, aye, surely, Mary T. He said 4 words. Well, 3 words in the letter T. But still, things were looking up. It looked to me like romance was in the air. And they danced the next set. And they danced the 3rd set together. Maire Rua gave it to me in the cloakroom. She couldn't believe it. She even dragged me out to look at the pair dancing away. Oh, Nora Gallagher, look at them. They're as happy out there together dancing away. Oh, Lord knows, maybe Jimmy will take a last chance on love. And maybe I'll be free to take a last chance on love myself. After the 3rd set was over, Mary T told Jimmy to go into the supper room and get a mineral, that she wanted to go down and talk to Maire Rua. And she comes to Maire Rua, who was perched up beside me in the cloakroom. No pussyfooting, she just laid the cards on the table. She told Maire Rua that she was willing to take a last chance on Jimmy Rua the Red. It'll be his first chance, she says. And if I've me way, it'll be his last chance. I don't want any jabbering, chatty, rattly man in my life. I always wanted a quiet man. And Jimmy Rua's the quiet man for me, she says. And now that I know he's a dancer of worth, well, he's a keeper. What do you say, Maire Rua? Do you give me your blessing to take a chance on your brother Jimmy Rua the Red? And Maire Rua, with a big smile on her face, says back to her, aye, surely, Mary T. Mr. Band boys were striking up for the next set, and the next thing Jimmy comes down to the 3 of us, and he looks at Mary T, and he nods towards that dance floor, and he says, aye. And she says, aye, surely, Jimmy Rua. And off the pair of them went onto that dance floor. They were on fire, I'll tell you, the pair of them.
Comb your hair, Peyton Potter. You laugh loud and I laugh louder. You will be so proud and I'll be prouder, 'cause we're setting the woods on fire. You like mom and I'm your fella. You won't wear your frock of yellow. You look swell, but I'll look sweller, because we're setting the woods on fire. Setting the woods
Jimmy Rua the Red, and half deaf in one ear Mary T were the stars of that dance floor that Saturday night. He was like Fred Astaire, and she was his Ginger Rogers. After the set, the two, with big smiles on their faces, came back to the pair of us in the cloakroom. Mary T announces that they would be heading home together. She tells Maire Rua that she better say the rosary on her own because Jimmy Rua would be home late that night on account of the fact that they'd be taking the long, twisty, windy road home by the lake. You see, Mary T had her own Morris Minor when not many had a car around Drumshee at that time. Jimmy was on the pig's back there. And the two of them headed off once I gave them their coats. And I went out to see them heading out the hall door. There was the pair of them, with Biddy Shan with the lumbago on the stick in between them. You see, she always got a lift with Mary T, on account of her having the lumbago and everything. It wasn't the most romantic of pictures. But I knew that romance was in the air, and it would be attended to once they'd dropped Biddy Shan off at her home. And then that pair would take the long, twisty, windy road home, far away from the prying eyes of Father Maloney.
I woke up this morning, I was feeling fine. Something had come across my mind. There was a new girl in the neighborhood. Something tells me I'm in for something good. She's not so sweet, and she's not kind of shy, and I know I'm her kind of guy, 'cause she held my hand like I knew she would. Something tells me I'm in for something good. Something tells me I'm in for something good.
Maire Rua walked home with me on the long lane. And God knows, but she never gave up jabbering and rattling and talking the whole way home. She was making plans, was Maire Rua. She said that she was going to meet up with the Merry Widows, and she was get them to help her put an advertisement in the Ireland's own magazine in the Pen Friends section. She was going to get herself a civil man. And then she started thinking about what words she'd put into this advertisement for the Ireland's own magazine. And after about the 10th attempt, she felt she had it. A 29-year-old woman with good morals and owning her own house is looking for a gentleman of means. No political types need apply. Catholics only, please. Well, there was the advertisement, and she was determined to get it into the Ireland's own magazine. I'll tell you, Maire Rua was on a mission. Because as she said, now that Jimmy has taken his last chance on love, maybe now I'll be able to take a chance on love myself and find myself a civil man to settle in with me. Bless her. Maire Rua and her determination for a man to take a last chance on her.
Something tells me I'm in for something good.
Well, there you have it. A story of a last chance on love from Drumshee Dry Dance Hall. So it's time for us to say goodnight to yous now. So from himself and myself, Hawaii. Now do come back next Friday night at 7 o'clock for our finale show. We'll be tying up all the loose ends at Drumshee Dry Dance Hall that memorable summer of 58. Slán, agus Banner.